Flavor Balance Heat, the podcast for hot sauce lovers and makers, is brought to you by Scoville.com. Try Scoville.com's hot sauce subscription box, where you pick the heat, flavor, and food pairings you want in your box. Get 1 or 3 bottles delivered to your door each month. Choose your heat level, flavor profile, and food pairings. And it's completely customizable each month. You no longer have to worry about getting sauces you don't like or won't use. Scoville.com specially curates each month's box based on your personal preferences. And best of all, High Desert Sauce Co., Butterfly Bakery of Vermont, and Irish Spike's unique hot sauces are all available at Scoville.com. Welcome to Flavor Balance Heat, the podcast for hot sauce lovers and makers. I'm Spike.
I'm Zac.
And I'm Claire.
And today we're talking to Johnny Scoville. Hey, Johnny.
Hey, Johnny.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's great to
What's
have
up?
you here.
Hey, Johnny.
I'm very happy to be here.
Hey, Johnny.
How are you, man?
Welcome to the shit show.
Glad to
Got it,
be here.
motherfuckers. So we like to start off by asking people how they got into spicy food, in your case, eating stupid hot peppers, and how that led you to making challenge products and a YouTube channel.
I had a great father. I did. I had a great dad, and he whatever he was into, I wanted to be into, and he liked spicy stuff, and I don't know exactly the age, probably somewhere between 7 and 9, maybe 10. I would just harass my dad for a pepperoncini, and he just said, "You're not going to like it. You're not going to like it." And I wouldn't give up like a little kid will do. And I won. And he said, "Here you go." And I ate it and liked it. And that kind of started the whole thing off. And I've just been sort of an extreme guy my whole life. And it's, a lot of ways it has not served me. In some ways it has, but I kind of just jumped into heat like I did everything else. And here I am.
There you go.
Johnny, have you noticed that there's been any change in the pepper eating world since Super Hot came out, or pepper growing world too, since Super Hot came out?
I don't really know, to be honest with you. I'm deep into writing a book, and to be really frank, I walked away from social media about maybe a year ago. It's just a cesspool. I want nothing to do with it at all.
Yeah.
So to be very honest with you, there could be massive changes within the chili community online, and I wouldn't even know about it. To be honest, I'm just being honest with you. Listen, I'm writing a book about a very deplorable time in my life, and the things that I'm writing about, some of the people in the chili community are so much worse than the scumbags that I'm writing about from my life in crime. It's a discouraging time for me right now. There's a lot of people in the chili world that I'd like to lock myself in a room with for 20 minutes. But I don't have that. I'm not being given that opportunity, and it's frustrating. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
Probably for everybody's best interest, though.
It sure is for theirs. I'm serious. It sure is for theirs. I'm at a point now where I'm this close to finding a new mountain to climb, to be really honest with you.
Wow. Can you tell us a little bit about the book that you're writing?
The book I'm writing, yeah, it's a redemption book. It's a redemption story. I'm a pretty decent guy right now. I try to be. I'm giving it my best college go, I promise you. But there was a 3-decade stretch where I was essentially a criminal, for a lack of a better word. And it's a story about turning your life around and coming off the deck and not giving up. And that's what the book is about. So the only way a redemption story is good at the payoff is if the bad story is seedy and bad. So I'm writing the bad parts now, and it's not fun to write about.
Yeah.
I think if anybody stares into a mirror for 4 months straight, you're going to feel like jumping off a building. And that's where I'm at right now.
Wow. That sounds rough.
Yeah, I've done that. I think all 3 of us have cleaned up our lives, Zac, you and me, over the course of our lives. So that's...
Hey, man, Claire's not open about her past. And she went to Berkeley. I mean, come on. Just fucking saying.
I went to Oberlin.
What I'm trying to say is
what happened there.
Claire's the normie here. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, by some definitions of normal.
Oh, man. So where are we at? Can you walk us through a League of Fire event? What is the day like, and how do you prepare yourself?
For you mean a festival or a challenge? You mean like a
challenge, like a legal fire chili
Well,
eating challenge?
I think all of my steps in the way that I kind of go at what I do is probably different than almost everybody else's. I'm just kind of wired differently, but I don't really prep. I don't prep too much. If it's a big challenge, as long as I have something in my stomach, I'm okay. So I don't really worry too much about it. You know what? And one of my biggest struggles with the legal fire challenges,
Traveling.
it's leaving the frame of the camera for some reason. I always screw it up for some reason. You can't ever leave the frame of camera. And I'll put my hands down for 1 second. And if you do that for 1 second, even though you didn't switch anything out, if you leaves for 1 second or you dip below for 1 second, you lose. And believe it or not, if you knew how many points I've had to give up, I've won championships and had to say, I'm sorry, it left the camera for a second, left the frame. So I'm bad at following rules. It really is. I'm bad at following rules.
It's hard when you're fidgety.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
Well, one of them was the Psycho Bears. I did this Psycho Bear thing. It was a extract gummy bears. And I did like 6, 7 pouches of them, whole bags of them. And the camera on my laptop that I was filming was dying. And I was reaching over here just to make sure that the plug stayed in. And I left the frame, I'm not joking, for a nanosecond. And I won, but because somebody said, oh, you left the frame, you lost, you broke the rule. I had to come back on and say, sorry, guys, I lost the event. I'm not the winner. I broke a rule and I didn't mean to. So it's sort of a drag. But you know what? I don't take any of it too seriously. I don't care about records. I don't care about belts. I don't care about the Guinness Book. All of that is crap to me. I just like having a good time. And I swear to Jesus, the minute this is no longer fun for me, I'm going to disappear like a fart. And you guys are going to be like, where the hell did Johnny go? And that's what's going to end up happening. I'm being serious. I'm kind of, it sounds funny, but I'm right there. I am right there right now.
I feel you, man. I've been struggling a lot. Like, hot sauce is not fun anymore. It's just not.
Well, yeah, you know what it is? That
it's people.
When it's going good, this is a beautiful thing. But when it's bad, it's like a prison rape. I'm sorry, but when it doesn't go well, it's one of the most agonizing, and it's a rough thing. You're pushing this rock up the hill, and it feels like everybody in the chili community is on the other side of the hill pushing the rock down against you, and it's like, aren't we all on the same team here?
Yeah,
it's a frustrating gig.
Yeah.
But you know what, though? I want you to know something. In spite of how frustrating it is, I love it. I do. I love it. I love some of the people. I want to choke the crap out of some of the people in the chili community because they're scumbags. But some of them, like Zac, I'm looking at it right now, I would jump in front of a freight train for that man. And there are some people that are so good in the chili community, and I swear to God, that's the only thing that keeps me hanging around. They make up for the losers, and that's the problem.
I'm Claire George. I own Butterfly Bakery of Vermont. We make hot sauce, mustard, cookies, and granola, and 100% of our products are made with Vermont ingredients. The thing that I hear most often from people is that my hot sauce tastes like the peppers that are in it. We do really simple recipes that don't get too crazy and nitpicky, just to really accentuate the flavor of the peppers that are in there. The unique thing about our hot sauces is how much we feature the farm and the relationship with the farm, and really bring the terroir of Vermont to our hot sauces. I am pretty sure I am the #1 purchaser of Vermont-grown chili peppers. I would love it if there would be a legitimate pepper market in Vermont where people would know Vermont for its peppers. We're all better for supporting each other. And I think that part really shows itself with the collaborations that I do with the other businesses and the other farms, that I love working together and coming up with new ideas and presenting each other with new challenges. And I think overall that's the attitude here. And I absolutely love it because that's my attitude. I try to live my life with love. The ingredients that I use, I would say that my values are reflected in that I use ingredients that, again, feel good, feel loving, feel supportive. The relationship with the farmer was how it all began. If I changed the reason for it being, if I went out and bought some commodity peppers, it might not be as good.
You can find Butterfly Bakery of Vermont hot sauce, mustard, granola, and cookies at butterflybakeryvt.com. Isn't that I mean, I feel the same way, but isn't that like with everything? There's always that one small amount that's saying so much that everybody thinks that everybody's saying, and it's just not
You're
true.
probably right. No, I think if I look back on the different endeavors, I'm an old man. I'm not like, this isn't the first. I've lived a million lives, and every life I've lived, there is always that small segment
Yeah.
that likes to undo things. So you're right. And I guess I've been doing this a long time. I guess I've just been doing this a really long time.
That makes sense. So
I still do love it though. Honestly, or if I didn't, I wouldn't be sitting here with you guys. I mean, I do love it.
I get everything you're feeling. I probably felt 3 days ago, in a different way. I mean, and then I'm fine, and then I'm not, and then I'm just a zombie one day, and that's how it works in this business. It's just a fucking roller coaster from beginning to end.
It really is, and it's so funny. I think sometimes it's easy to let the small the little foxes spoil the vine. It's easy to let the little things get in the way, distract you. It's just background noise, and sometimes that little background noise it's like tinnitus. It gets so loud, that's all you hear is the background noise. But sometimes I just got to keep that out of my thoughts. It's a little bit easier to deal with.
Yeah, I got to focus on what's
what the bottom line is. I need an event. I need a chili festival. Anytime things are going south, you need a good festival to kind of remind you of why you do what you do. I think I need one.
What do you love about the festivals?
Just the people. Here's the thing. Like right now, it's my first time with you guys, Spike and Claire. It's my first time with you guys, but I love Zac. Like Zac's a really good man.
Yeah,
he's like a good friend of mine. So is like the little fun we're having here right now. A festival is just super concentrated, lots of people that I like. There's always going to be a handful of people at a festival that I'm not friends with, but I don't even notice them. But there's just being able to do this is fun. But I promise you, if Zac walked in this door, he'd give me a big hug. And that's what I love about the festivals is the realness of it all. It takes it all from theoretical and just like and makes it real. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Are you going to Illinois or Portland or New York?
The next festival I'm going to be is going to be the one in Erie for League of Fire.
Okay.
It's going to be coming up first week of July, so I'll be there for that one, which will be good. So
awesome! It was nice seeing you. I got to meet you real quickly. You probably met so many people, but I got to meet you real quickly at Fiery Foods. It was nice.
You know what? I'm sorry, Spike.
Oh no. I didn't expect you to remember me. You were walking.
Johnny, do you remember meeting me?
Sorry,
it was a lot of years ago. It was probably it was either 2018 or 2019 at the New York Hot Sauce Show at the Heatness Party up at on the rooftop, and we're in the elevator, and you were.
That was my last New York Hot Sauce Expo where I was drinking.
I would believe that you had been drinking that night.
You know what's funny? The following year, I went back to New York the following year, and this person walked up to me, and he's like, "Oh man, it's so good." He said it was so great to meet me, and I was like, "Oh, I saw you last year. I swear I'd never seen this guy before." I said, "I don't think we met." I shook his hand, pulled his phone up, and showed pictures from the year before. But I'm glad I don't drink anymore. I'm still sober, which is a great thing.
That's great. That's great.
Well, when I saw you at Fiery Foods, you offered me a peanut, and I had to get on a plane in 2 hours. I was like, no.
Oh, my God. I remember that. Spike, I remember that. Okay,
no, I'm not going to take that peanut.
That's a fun festival.
That was the glorious thing about not having teeth. Anything him and David offered me, sorry.
Now you have no excuse.
Actually, I do. I can't. I'm still can't do.
You can't do crunchy things.
Yeah.
I mean, I just wear the top one, top Dutcher for aesthetic purposes, but they don't function the way they're supposed to. So I have to get implants. It's what it fucking boils down to, but it is what it is.
So Johnny, you've got a whole line of products. Can you talk us a little bit about them?
Yeah, you know what? Mostly I'm really good friends with David Foy from Blazing Foods. In fact, I'm in his home right now. He's my business partner in the sauce company and just a really dear friend of mine. So he kind of approached me. We've been friends I met him the first year I started my channel in 2016. And he and I became friends, and he started Blazing Foods almost the exact time I started my channel. And he sent me the first Death Nuts. He wanted me to review it, and I reviewed it, and he kind of did really well. And he called me one day. It was funny. He called me and goes, "Man, if you've done something that's almost impossible." And I said, "Yeah, what did I do?" I was so curious. I'm like, "Tell me, what did I do?" He's like, "You're a brand." He goes, "You are a brand." He goes, "That's almost an impossible thing to do." He goes, "If you could just figure out, get a couple products underneath you, you can make a living doing what you love." And it just sounded, I was like, I didn't see what he saw. And he said to me one day, he's like, let's do a collab. It's time. I said, "Okay, what?" I'm like, he goes, got any ideas?" I'm like, "You're the peanut guy. How about we do a peanut thing?" So he came up with the idea, and ever since then, it's just we did the first one we did was the Tube of Terror, and when we first did, we bought 1,000 tubes, and that was it. And the literally, I think it was the day or maybe 2 days before we launched it, I called him. I'm like, "Dude, what happens if we sell them all?" I never thought we were going to sell 1,000. I never did, but I said, "What happens if we sell 1,000?" He goes, "I don't know. You want to sell some more? I guess we'll just see how it goes." So we released it, and it started off kind of slow, and now we've sold just so many all over the world. And we did the Tube of Terror. Then we decided to do the 2.0, and so many people said, "I got peanut allergies," so we decided to do a corn nut version for people that had peanut allergies. And then we did the 6 hot balls, and so we just we're almost itching to do another one. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do in this industry is what I'm trying to, part of me wants to say, let's do another challenge. The other part of me is trying to figure out if I want to be on this mountain anymore. I'm just being honest with you.
Fruit roll-ups.
We've done it already.
Oh, shit.
We did that. We did that.
I didn't see that one.
Foy, let me tell you, Foy is a genius. He's a weirdo, man. We did the fruit roll-ups. It must have been 6 years ago.
Oh, geez, of course.
He and I, what we do, and we do this when I used to live here full time, once a week we would do this, but we would go through a grocery store and spend 2 hours in there and go through every aisle.
Oh, yeah.
Look, just saying what has never been heated or what isn't heated well, what sucks and what has never been done before.
Oh,
and we would so that's how we've come up with most of the ideas. I mean, literally most of the ideas have literally been just going up and down aisles in grocery stores. So he came up with the idea of fruit roll-up. It was just labor intensive, and that's why we didn't go through with it. But if you knew some of the things we've done that we have never sold, some of the stuff we've come up with that we've just never even sold before, it's been insane. So I think anybody watching this is going to hear frustration in me. It's not so much. It's more of a statement of where I am personally. I'm writing this book, and it's just agonizing. So it's kind of like the perfect storm. It's not so much. I mean, I'm trying to sort things out. Maybe this is what this is. You guys do. You don't even realize what you're doing for me tonight. At the end of this, I'm going to have all my problems figured out. You guys, seriously, about 15 minutes, I'm going to start transitioning and start asking you questions. At the end of this whole thing, I'm going to have it's just like dialing in, like it's going to become crystal clear, and I'll have it all figured out.
I mean, so we should send you a bill, is what you're saying.
Yeah. and the reality is that fix is temporary, and you know that, because then your brain's just going to start turning again, and you're going to go down the fucking rabbit hole again. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm coming off like 3 weeks.
Here's the problem. I grew up in a different era. I did. I'm an old man. I grew up in an era like right now. People just they want to have battles online. I would drive to your house.
Yeah.
And knock on your door. You would come out and we'd go in your yard and we would handle things. And that's how I grew up. Yeah. I've been driven to people's homes. My dad drove me to kids' homes before to handle things. Yeah. And I feel like I'm in an era. I don't belong in this. I don't belong here. I feel like I'm living in a world that doesn't make sense to me. And that's kind of where I'm at. There's a half a dozen people in the chilly world. I'd like to go to their homes.
Yeah,
I have to be careful because I get like that, especially when I get really hot. But I know that I'll end up drinking because eventually I go there. That's what happens.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I've been really, really good. It's funny. This whole book is about not the whole book, but a big part of it is about sobriety, and that's the most important thing in the world to me. Like I have a close walk with God. I'm a believer, and it's important to me. I don't wear it on my sleeve. I don't tell people about it, but it matters to me. And when I'm using, the important things in my life fade away. You ever see like this, like a Twilight Zone where a guy just starts disappearing from pictures and he starts fading from pictures and he doesn't exist anymore. Well, when I start using, God does that. He disappears from my life. And everything will just, I push everything that's good away from me when I use. So the most important thing in my life is my sobriety, because with that, I can achieve all the things that I want to achieve, but without the sobriety, nothing. I can achieve nothing. So that's a critical thing for me. You know what I mean? It's funny how many sober people there are in the chili world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Spike, me, you. I mean, shit, that's 75% right here on this podcast.
Well, it's funny. It's man, and it's really weird. I don't know, man. It took me getting sober to realize that. Like, I've got a million people that have come up to me since I got sober. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know you were sober. It's like, it seems like everybody is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know, capsaicin, it triggers those endorphins, as you know, and, you know, you get high. And it's not a bad addiction, so.
Well, you know what's interesting? I get people will come at me a lot for that. They'll say, you just traded one addiction for the other. And my answer is, damn right.
Yeah. Flavor Balance Heat is brought to you by High Desert Sauce Co. out of Tucson, Arizona. Zac is the owner and creative mind behind High Desert Sauce Co.'s hot sauces. He says, at High Desert Sauce Co. we make sauces that we love. The balance of bold heat and fresh flavor is the heart of our philosophy. We keep it simple by using the best ingredients we can get our hands on and letting the natural flavors run the show. High Desert Sauce Co. Just the good stuff. Visit High Desert at hdsauceco.com.
Well, and one addiction is a whole lot healthier than the other.
Oh, yeah. Well, one addiction's legal. It brings people together. It doesn't isolate you. It's healthy. You know what I mean? There's no drawback. Oh, cap cramps. But apart from that, there's no drawbacks from it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, people that use the program to get sober, I mean, they're just trading one addiction for another.
It's true.
My buddy Mishka wrote a book about he started jogging and he got sober. That's what got him sober.
Well, here's the thing, where people are very good at picking up habits. I can pick up a habit in 5 minutes. I don't know, 31 days, whatever people say. I can pick one up like that. Picking up habits is easy. Getting rid of one is a hard thing. So one of the things that I help people, because I have a million people that I try to help get sober. One of the things that I tell them all the time is, number one, you're 10 times stronger than you think you are. But number two, instead of trying to put a habit away, fill your day up with good, positive habits. And what ends up happening is you don't leave time for the negative ones. All the things that you did when you were sober, when you were using, you can't do now. And every single thing you do now better be different than what you used to do before. And to me, I don't know, man. Sobriety's a trip. And the funny thing is, all the money I spent $1 million on drugs. I'm not even joking to you. When I tell you $1 million, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm
sorry, I don't mean to laugh at that, man, but I get it.
I spent $1 million on drugs, and I feel now for free, what I spent all that money in the past to try to feel. And I feel that now for free.
Yeah.
Stupidity of it all.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. But Chili's, I'm telling you something, Chili's, there's a correlation. You know it is, Zach, and you probably do too, Spike. There's a correlation between sobriety and capsaicin. You know, Zach mentioned a second ago, you get that dopamine up, it gives you that buzz. But to me, I don't know. To me, it's so crystal clear. It makes so much sense to me. It's like quitting. I tried to quit 1 million times before, and it was difficult. This time, it was the easiest thing in the world. It was like hitting a light switch. And that's scary to me. It's, I'll never stop eating peppers. I promise you. Because I think that was the reason the switch was so easy to flip.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean it.
Johnny, what do you... Oh, no. Go ahead, Zach.
I was just going to say, like I was saying earlier, I was in a little bit of a mental health funk for like 2.5 weeks. And I realized I hadn't made sauce in forever. So we went to the kitchen today and bottled some product. And I am definitely much happier. Tired as fuck, but much happier.
That's great. That's great.
I mean, it is, but I can only bottle so much product, you know?
Yeah.
You don't like to bottle that much?
I say I can only bottle so much. So, you know.
Get somebody else to run your business, and then you can just bottle sauce all day, every day.
I know. That's what. Hey, I need a spokesperson, someone to be the face of High Desert because I'm tired of it.
There you go.
Accepting applications.
Johnny, how do you feel the YouTube world, the chili pepper world, the hot sauce world? How do you feel like it's all changed since you got into it?
Oh, what a great question. You know what? It's changed a lot. The changes that have happened in the community as a whole is YouTube has matched it. And here's what I mean. When I first started, I think I was in the third month of my channel, I ate 3 ghost peppers in a video. And I got a strike for it. They deleted the video, gave me a strike. They said that it was a dangerous act. A dangerous act. Eating 3 ghost.
Wow.
Now, if this product, if we sold it in the year I started my channel, we couldn't have sold it. Nobody would have bought it. Nobody would have eaten it. Nobody was ready for it. I mean it. Nobody was ready for it. So what happened was, as the chili community started to grow, everybody's tolerance started to get higher. So this was something we could sell. And in the first year of my channel, I ate 3 ghost peppers, and that was considered a dangerous act. If you fast forward 4 years, 5 years, I'm jumping out of planes eating 10 Reapers while skydiving. And they're okay with that. So the tolerance, YouTube's tolerance for what I do, like when I first started, they're like, he's going to kill himself. We got to give this guy a strike. Something's got, now they're like, Scoville, he's eating something hot. We're okay. They don't give me a hard time anymore. So I think there's also been, when I first started, there was it seemed like what was trending at the time was super edited videos. And I wasn't trying to be raw. Like I wasn't trying to be cutting edge. I'm a dummy. I don't know how to edit squat. I wasn't trying to be cutting edge or the whole raw thing. That said, I think that's a big part of why my channel works. It feels very real. There's no, because there's no editing. It doesn't feel like a canned show. It feels like you're sitting in a room with somebody. I hope that's what's going on. So, everything's, I don't know. So I think that it seems like that everybody's kind of getting away from the heavy editing, but it's growing. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, I know when I started, there might've been a dozen YouTube channels about spicy stuff. I know it sounds like I'm like Gandalf talking like that. There was only 10 channels then. Now there must be 10,000.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful thing. I mean, the pie's big. There's lots of pie for everybody. I hope it keeps growing.
Yeah, it seems like it is. So that's good. Good for us.
See, I already feel better, you guys. I owe you. You send me your bill, whatever it costs, I'll pay all 3. No, you know what's really important though? It's easy I get into a funk. You know what I mean? It's easy to let that happen. And it's easy to let the little irritations, I end up majoring on the minors. Because let's face it, the scumbags in the community that are the detractors that ruin things, they're insignificant. They're this big in the grand scheme of things. So that's how much effort and energy I need to devote towards them. So and if that's how big they are, that's how much energy I should give them. If I give them that much energy, I feel a lot better about stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, question for you. How come when you're in this funk, you aren't making phone calls to people that can help pull you out? I guess I should take my own fucking advice. God damn it.
No, that's a good question. It's here's the thing. It's like sobriety maintenance. I need to be talking to people on the regular. So that's an important thing. Now, the good thing is this. Let me tell you one thing that I learned. This is critical. I thought, until about 2 years ago, I thought that if somebody was sober and they relapsed, it meant you were using your former drug of choice. You've gone back and you've begun using again. That is not what relapse is. Relapse isn't using the substance or smoking or doing relapse is changing your mindset. I journal every day. When I stop journaling, I'm relapsing, whether I'm using or not. The minute I'm not making my bed in the morning, if I don't make my bed in the morning, that's the start of relapse for me. So one thing that I've learned is that, staying on top of it. You're right, Zach, I should. But the writing right now I'm going to blame everything on my writing right now. I'm writing about 8 hours a day, which is a tough thing to do. It's a hard thing to stay focused for 8 hours a day, but that's what I've been doing lately. I'm up to about 350 pages right now. And I'm not sure I'm halfway done with it.
I got a degree in writing, so I know. Yeah. It's really, really hard to sit down for. I think I would try and do and fail most days 2,000 words. So if you're writing for 8 hours, you're getting way over that.
Yeah, I'm not even sure how many words I'm writing a day, but
Flavor Balance Heat, the podcast for hot sauce lovers and makers, is brought to you by Irish Spike's unique hot sauces and Vandal pepper sauces. I'm Spike, the owner and executive saucier. Our sauces are handmade in the Pacific Northwest using the best possible ingredient. We believe that hot sauce equates to a balance of sensational heat coupled with a robust and complex flavor profile. Live your hottest life with Irish Spikes. Irish Spike's unique hot sauces and Vandal pepper sauces are available at saucecult.com.
So I'm sure you've seen it, the $100 hot sauces out there that are mediocre sauces in cool bottles or whatever. Spike, myself, and Claire are going to create a $100 hot sauce. What ingredient, process, packaging do you think would warrant that kind of price tag?
We want to make it worth it.
No fucking
Actually worth
truffles.
it. Yeah.
No truffles.
Yeah, no truffles.
Here's the thing. First of all, a gorgeous bottle, something very exotic in what it's going to, the container it's going to be in is important. Very limited run is super important. Very small number, maybe 100, limited to 100 bottles. Something small.
You guys.
You said 50. You said fucking 50.
And then I compromised with 100 and you guys said 150.
But that's what, and then you have some ginchy things like saffron, black garlic, just some cool shit that looks good on a label. And that's how I would do it. But I think you can do it. You got, limited number, a really cool bottle.
I just remembered that one of my bottle suppliers sells bottles. They're meant for maple syrup, but they're it's a hockey player.
Nice.
None of us.
That's a good idea. I think it's a good idea to do that. I think it would be, and you know what? If you do that, you do it well, it'll start a trend, and every other sauce company can roll out their $100 bottle. It's a great idea.
I mean, technically, Blair's started with the, and then Hellfire does. The blown glass situation. There's shit out there, but I'm talking other companies that I'm not going to name.
How large a bottle? Are you talking about? You're not doing 4 or 5 ounces. How big would it be?
I would think at least an 8-ounce bottle, right?
I was thinking 8, yeah.
Oh, well, if we're doing 8s, then we can't fit 150 into our pot anyway. So
it's a great idea, though. I think you should definitely do it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think we've got some fun ideas.
Well, and we've talked about it on the podcast here, so the pepper we're going to use is Claire. You tell him about the pepper, because he's a pepper guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get Johnny a pepper.
You should do the ahi charapita.
It's a Duchess mystery pepper. So it's not a crazy super hot, but it's a Golden Ghost variant. So one of our farmers, Duchess Farm, down in Pulteney, Vermont, in his field of Golden Ghosts had this one that popped up that was bigger and juicier than the rest of them. So this it's so good. This mystery pepper has got the sweetness and the juiciness of a bell pepper, but the heat and flavor of a ghost pepper.
No way.
It's fantastic. Absolutely love it.
And
I can, Pulteney, Vermont. Yeah. And
that's where I grew up.
You grew up in Pulteney, Vermont?
In Vermont. I mean, two towns over.
Did you really? Oh. I had no idea. How long did you live in Vermont?
From a year. I moved there when I was a year old and left when I was 17.
And where did you live?
Woodstock.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've been to Woodstock. It's a cute little town.
Well, that's one of the reasons I got in trouble is that there was, you watch snow melt. That's what you do for a good time. So
yeah. And sometimes it has a little dirt in it. It takes a long time to melt. Yep. That's awesome.
How old is that guy in Vermont?
So his name is Steven. Steven, God, and he's been farming for a long time. Totally blanking on his last name. But yeah, Duchess Farm. A lot of our farmers are from.
He will know of me.
Okay. What do I?
You don't, but I promise you.
Yeah, I know. I dated a guy who I had to be really careful who I said he
would know stories about me, probably.
And I'm sure all the police in town knew you and would pull you over for going a mile over the speed limit just to see what you were doing. Yeah. I know that world. Here in Vermont. I know that world here in Vermont.
See?
Are you in Vermont now, Claire?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where are you?
Montpelier.
I went to UVM.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I go up to Burlington all the time.
Tad and Kit from Harvest 912. Kit went to UVM also.
Nice.
I had a lot of fun there.
How long has it been since you've been to Vermont?
I went back to visit about a dozen years ago, and I hadn't been back in 20 years. This is the most bizarre story. I was with a girl that I was dating at the time, and we were walking. I hadn't been there forever. I'm walking down right in front of the bank in Woodstock, and a guy's walking this way, and he goes, "Hey, Johnny." Kept walking. I went,
Yeah.
not like, holy crap, I haven't seen you in 2 freaking decades. He went, "Hey, how you doing?" And just kept walking like it was no big, like he saw me yesterday. I was just like,
the funny thing is, as soon as you started that story, I knew exactly what the story was going to be, because that is the most Vermont story. And we all know each other, and we all all run into other people from Vermont. Okay, here. Before I moved to Vermont, I knew precisely one family in Vermont. They, the husband and wife went to college with my dad, and then they moved to Vermont and had children. They were the one family I knew in all of Vermont. And I went to Oberlin. I went to Oberlin College in Ohio, and I met some other people from Vermont. And I mean, I grew up in California. You don't know anybody in California. California has way too many people. It's way too big. People are like, "Do you know Bob?" And you're like, "Fuck you." So, in Vermont, I was like, well, I know one family in Vermont. And people were like, oh, who's that? And I was like, well, you're not going to know them. So I know, Helen and Meredith Cowart. And I kid you not, the guy was like, "Oh, I went to the prom with Helen."
that's how it works.
That's
I'm
Vermont.
not even
Like,
joking.
just-
That really is how Vermont is.
Yeah,
It's so
yeah.
weird.
There's, it's 6 degrees of separation between any two people, and every single one of those trains runs through Vermont.
That's a fact. I was in a cab once, Uber with my son, and we get in the car, and the guy's got this wicked East Coast accent. I was like, "Dude, where are you from?" He said, "Vermont." I said, "Shut up. Are you serious?" I said, I said, "We got a 10-minute drive. I know a dozen people Let's start talking." And by the time we were done, I figured he was a skier. We figured out he was a skier. We went Killington.
Yeah.
Up the access road. I named a dozen bars on the access road.
Yeah.
My son was in the back seat like this. Like, I can't believe you knew people he knew. I'm like, it's not that big a deal. Vermont's a parking lot, dude.
Yeah. Well, I'm in Idaho. It's the same thing.
Wow, Idaho, right? For real. Vermont's strange though. Vermont's got that extra season, that mud season.
Yes.
Mud season and construction season is the season we're in right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
mud season is like
construction season's everywhere. That's not just a Vermont thing. I mean,
we can't do it for a good portion of the year, so everything is just condensed. So
and summer
every
lasts
route,
like 8 minutes. Is how long summer lasts.
it's been so hot here. It's been like we got heat indexes above 100 with humidity around 100. So yeah,
that's so great, Claire. I did not know you were in Vermont. That is too crazy.
Yeah, Butterfly Bakery of Vermont. So
Claire,
you've reviewed some of my sauces.
Kidding. Claire, the light. Did you see the light bulb just go on? Oh my God, Claire.
Oh, you remember me now?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Wow. No way.
So I'm still doing this many years later.
So now, and I remember meeting you now.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was about your reaction we met in the elevator, and you were like, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can I tell you, if I wasn't sober, none of the synapses would be firing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what's your next thing? What's your next big deal? What are you working on?
Any of us or just me?
You, Claire.
Working on hot sauce.
Do you have any new flavors you're working on?
We always have new flavors. So we've got like 10.
Yeah.
What are you going to say, Zach?
I was going to say, not me, because, I'm like reducing my line right now, but these two fools, like, they make so many fucking different sauces.
Claire does. I mean, it's way beyond what we do. We've got like 40, and Claire, I think last year did 150, didn't you, or something like that?
242.
Yeah.
Different sauces.
Well, 242 different products. So we're also a co-packer. So we made that many different products, that many different recipes.
Lord.
But of our own products, we've got 10 big batch flavors of hot sauce, and then we have a constant rotating cast of like 10 to 15 micro batches. So in a given year, it varies widely, but we probably have, 50 other sauces that we make just in micro batch.
Wow.
And I could send you, if you want, the Duchess mystery pepper sauce. It's not a crazy hot or anything, but it's got a really great flavor.
Believe it or
Listen,
not,
I'm
Johnny's favorite
typecast.
sauces are not stupid hot. They are
I know.
medium to
I'm
hot.
typecast as a crazy person. My favorite sauces are mild and medium. They really are.
Nice. Well, I can send you some if you want some.
I would love that. That would be great.
Yeah, I'd like to send you some too if you're all right with that.
Absolutely.
Cool. Sounds good.
Yeah, I'll get you guys my address after we're done.
Sounds good.
Cool.
So I think we should skip the next question because we've already done it.
Yeah. Yep.
It's
we
hot takes. We don't need that. We've gone up.
We'll have to edit that all out anyway.
Fine.
So show and tell. Hot sauce show and tell.
Johnny, did you bring a bottle of hot sauce? Can't be one of your own.
It can be anything.
Yeah. I personally am doing my own because...
Ooh, what's that?
This is from Danana's pepper sauce, and this is the Devil's Rempool. This is a sauce made with 2 pods. The Remmert pod, this is created by Jeff Remmert, and the Deadpool, also created by Jeff Remmert. The proceeds of this are going towards the offset surgery from the woman. Her husband had heart surgery recently. But it's a very, very hot sauce. So it's got very interesting ingredients in here.
That label artwork is really impressive. I don't usually
it's very cool.
gravitate toward that style, but it's great.
Listen to it. It's got some cool ingredients. It's roasted garlic, fresh basil, but it's got black garlic, fresh mint, and ginger. It's got a very, very eclectic set of ingredients.
I can see that.
This is the one that I'm kind of playing with now.
And which peppers did you say it had in it?
The pepper is the Deadpool and the Remmert pod, both created by Jeff Remmert.
Wow.
But it's got green pepper. It's got orange pepper in there. It's got white onion. Very cool stuff in here.
Fantastic.
So that's my show and tell.
Oh, Claire?
I brought Burke's Hot Sauce Pineapple Habanero. Met these guys at the Boston Sauce Show, and they do their own fermenting, and it's fermented, but it's got a really fresh flavor. And I'm not usually a huge pineapple hot sauce, fruit hot sauce kind of person. And this is really tasty. I really, really enjoyed it. And mostly habaneros. Really good.
Excellent. Don't you love when you get a sauce where I don't usually like it, but this one I really do? I love when you come across a sauce like that.
And I feel like so many fermented hot sauces taste very similar. And this, I feel like, has a unique fermentation profile. I really enjoy it.
So the episode where we did this sauce, we all showed this sauce. It didn't air because we had some audio issues. So
I'll
I'm
have to tell
Clucky Dog by Lucky Dog. It's so good. I love this. And
his sauces are wicked complex.
Oh yeah.
Aromatically.
Yeah.
I told him that we all brought that sauce on the same day, and he thought that was just awesome. And I should tell him that it didn't air. I totally.
I'll let him know too.
That's too bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Should we reschedule that episode? Side note?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Well, I am going to see him though. So in just a week or two.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Nice. Obviously I'm recording at my warehouse because it is hot as fuck in my house, and I forgot to bring fucking hot sauce. So you get to deal with the high desert sauce, and we got the snail mate stressier sauce.
Oh, I like that.
Really enjoy that.
Yeah,
I actually have that on my
so
desk,
good.
and I've been eating it at work. And those snail mate guys are just great.
Yeah,
I really love them.
Fucking adorable, honestly.
They really are. And I didn't met them before we interviewed them, and now I follow them and I enjoy the reviews, and they're just awesome.
I know. I chat with them
really
all
love
the
them.
time.
Yeah.
Good dudes.
Yeah.
All right. So
What's next for you, Johnny?
Yeah.
Where do you see the Scoville brand going?
You know what? Let me tell you what I've been thinking. Since you asked me, and don't edit this out. This is for real. Okay. I had a dream the other day, probably within the last month or so, that I essentially retired from everything. I still made videos, like eating pepper videos, but I stopped doing everything else. I'm thinking about doing that. After this season. Only do pepper videos and nothing else. If I had a choice, I love peppers. I love peppers. Like, I'd rather eat a whole pepper than do just about anything else. So what I think I might do, I might wait until, the challenge turns 8 in this October. Maybe I should wait until 10 years. I don't know. At some point, I'm going to retire from doing everything and just eat peppers and just do that, because that's really where my heart is.
that makes sense.
I like that.
So, Yep.
It's nice to
And eventually, I mean, I got to get to Australia. I've been working on that for 5 years now, and it's absurd.
Yeah.
So that's ultimately where my heart is. So I'm hiring an attorney that specializes in foreign travel to assist me in getting over there. They're breaking my chops and not letting me in, even though I've been there before and I'm not disqualified for being there.
I think I remember you talking about that on your channel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I got a DWI 6 years ago, and even though it was not a felony, and the only thing that keeps you out of Australia is if you're a felon or if you spend 160 days in prison for all totaled. I've spent like 5 days. I'm not a felon, and I've been there already. So, but because of that DWI, they're flagging me every time. And what the attorney has said is they can't keep you out. They're just going to make you pay to get in. So that's what's going to happen. So I'm going to end up paying $15,000 to get in there. So that's what my next step is.
Canada would keep you out with a DWI. You're not allowed to go to Canada.
They're vicious. They are brutal. That's a bummer because I can never go there because of that.
And that is for life, and unless you pay. There's after something like 10 years, a very long period of time, you can pay to have that removed, but otherwise it's for life.
Here's my thought, though. Claire, I went to school at Burlington. You know how many times I went to Canada? We used to go there on weekends, just for weekends. So I've had my fun in Canada. I don't ever need to go back. I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah. I go up there a lot because my husband's Canadian. So we go up and visit family all the time.
One of the cleanest countries I have ever been to in my life.
It's nice. It's nice.
Clean. It's just clean. Like I've been walking around Montreal.
Winter just cleans things.
That's
true.
Well, yeah, when you got 11 months of fucking winter.
I mean, basically, it just brushes everything under the rug.
Yeah.
Speed round?
No, it's
questions for us, Claire. Questions for us.
Oh, yeah. Do you have any questions for us, Johnny?
Yeah, it's really funny. I'm curious about I've seen Zac's process. I've worked with Zac in the kitchen, and so I kind of get an idea of how he works and I'm curious. How do you? Like, everybody's approach to sauce making is different. When you set out to create a new sauce flavor, like if you're thinking, how does it start? Like, what does that palette look like? You know what I mean?
Yeah. For me, I can imagine, I can taste flavors in my head. So I will think of, so we have a 2,000 square foot freezer that we store all the produce that we get in Vermont. And so I will often just start there. I know everything that's in there. I'll start with those ingredients and see what I can build from there. I'll also start with like an interesting ingredient in Vermont. I mean, not just like a produce ingredient, but like a beer or a cider or a, alcoholic product, or ginger has been growing really well in Vermont. We get a lot of baby ginger. And so that's been a really fun starting point. I work with a lot of limitations because Vermont, all of our produce comes from Vermont. So it's only things that can grow here. So the farmers are kind of constantly innovating. Climate change is, I guess, helping with that. And so we're finding new stuff to grow. And so then I'll kind of take it and go from.
You should do a fiddlehead sauce.
Yeah. So fiddleheads kind of just taste like planty dirt.
You know what?
The only reason they taste good is people cook them with butter and salt, and like that's good.
When I grew up, my dad had 250 acres of land or something. He had a lot of land in Woodstock. Yeah. And my junior year in high school, we had just a field of fiddleheads, and a neighbor said, "Oh, you got to cook those." And we went, "I'm sorry, what?" He went, "Yeah, you got to cook those." I said, "Cook what?" He goes, "Fiddleheads," and he showed us how to make them with garlic and butter and salt. And the greatest tragedy in my entire time of living in Vermont is that I discovered fiddleheads a year before I left.
Yeah.
Oh my God, are they good?
They're okay. But we have ramps. Ramps, wild onions?
No.
Oh man. Okay. I guess you did leave a while ago, but ramps are making a comeback. So they're much, much more abundant now than they used to be. And they're called the Winooski. They're wild onion. And they've got a leaf that looks kind of like a lily's leaf, but then at the bottom they have like a little clove almost. It's like a garlic clove, and you grind it up and it tastes like garlicky onion. You can make pesto just directly from it. It's so good. And I have a huge patch in my backyard, and more than I could ever pull up. And they're spread often by wild turkeys. And so as the wild turkey population is growing, the ramps are spreading. So we've actually roasted them, and then we actually had a fire in our kitchen recently, and that kind of has created a lot of chaos. So we roasted them off. We didn't get a chance to make them into sauce. We stuck them in the freezer, but we're going to do roasted ramp and rhubarb hot sauce at some point in the next little bit of time.
I've had a great rhubarb sauce pretty recently.
Yeah. We did a strawberry rhubarb sauce last year, and that was really good. We did just get some strawberries from a nearby farm, but I don't want to repeat the strawberry rhubarb. We're going to do maybe strawberry ginger would be really good. I had another strawberry idea too, but now I've forgotten it. So it probably won't happen if I didn't write it down. But yeah, so I just start with ingredients. And figure out where they take me.
The first sauce we did, I think it was like the 14th version that we finally settled on. But I was in love with number 2, number 7, number 9, number 11. I remember them. They're like, this is great. And then I remember someone said that Leonardo da Vinci said that no masterpiece is ever finished. It's abandoned.
Yeah.
Do you as a sauce maker ever feel like you get to like, screw it, it's got to be done? Or how do you know when you got it?
So
I struggle with that.
Our sauces, so our micro batch sauces are just generally one-off. Every once in a while, we failed miserably. We did just throw away a sauce that is just not good, and it's bitter and it's wrong and I hate it. But generally, we make a micro batch and we just sell it. And it helps that I know what I'm expecting. We work with a simple number of ingredients. All of those things help. If it turns out to be a hit, we might make it again and again and make improvements. On our big batch flavors, they have changed dramatically from when we have started them. Our methods have changed. Our smoked onion used to have serranos in it. Now it's made with red jalapenos. We run it through a mill. We didn't used to. We've changed our vinegar a couple times. Those things, you're constantly improving. You're constantly changing. There's no, every batch is different anyway, just because that's the world of food and cooking. So yeah, you're constantly.
I'm always blown away when we make a sauce and it sort of tastes like it did the last time. Because I'm being serious. I'm not trying to be like, here's the thing. It's like, I think about with grapes, like Robert Mondavi wine. It's like grapes change. How do you make the grape taste the same every single time? It's like, because peppers change. They aren't as hot. They taste a little different. The mash is, you know what I mean? So our sauce is pretty consistent, but I'm still blown away when I taste the same.
Well, and I think when you work with a lot of different ingredients, I think it's easy to kind of blend those differences away. Yeah. What I realized pretty early on, because we only most of our sauces have between 3 and 5 ingredients. Because we do that, those differences really show up, and I just decided to lean into it. And that's why in the beginning we started listing the farm, was just because Dog River Farms jalapenos are way hotter than Honeyfields Farms jalapenos. And it's just, that was the farm that year. And so we would put the year and we put the farm. And if somebody said, this is different, I'd be like, yep, different farm, different year.
Yep. I love it.
So for me, I walk into the grocery store and my head goes off like a pinball machine. Or
you're lying, because Helen doesn't let you go to the grocery store. That's
true, because they don't want me to keep making sauces. Because there's a lot. There's it's just too much for our little space. We bottle out of a restaurant. I've talked about this on the podcast, but I was watching Silly Little British Mystery with my kid. It was in the Caribbean, and they put a dish of called watermelon curry in front of somebody, and I went, watermelon curry? And so we're coming out with a watermelon curry in a month.
Interesting.
So it's, it just goes. I was a chef, and so I did that a lot. And so now I just kind of carried that into what I do.
Right.
And I play until I get
Very
what
cool.
I want. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. I love hearing people's approach, because everybody has sort of a different approach to it,
Yeah, I liked it.
So it's kind of neat.
Well, along those lines, it wasn't until I started doing this podcast and talking to people about making their sauce that I realized that we were more unusual in the fact that we cook our ingredients first and then blend them. And most sauce makers blend their ingredients and then cook them. And I had no idea.
We cook them first.
You do.
You know
Yeah.
what
I mean, I think plenty of people do. It seems that most people blend and then cook. And not in the regular Facebook group, but in a different hot sauce Facebook group that I'm in, somebody commented about like, what's the difference? And then a bunch of people chimed in or were like, wow, that'd be insane to cook them first and then blend them. And then you have to reheat it and to bottle it.
The first thing that we do is we decide on the heat source first. So the first thing we decide is what pepper we're going to use. And then we build everything off of that.
Yeah.
Because we've done it the other way around. We built something, and then when you change peppers, it really does change completely.
Oh, yeah.
Changes so much.
Right? It's just like, holy
We were
moly.
doing a co-pack sauce, and we needed to increase the heat, so we were adding some powder to it. And so we did a test batch, and then we broke the test batch into 3 buckets and put a different pepper powder into each one. And I was shocked at how different they tasted. Habanero,
Amazing.
Ghost, and Reaper. And they totally changed the flavor of the sauce. Like the whole sauce. I mean, even though it's just a little tiny amount of powder.
Isn't that amazing?
It just changed the flavor of the entire sauce. Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I'm blown away that you're one-offs and you nail it. It's just amazing to me. That's amazing to me.
I mean, some people like better than others.
We made a sauce once with avocado oil. We wanted to put avocado oil, just a cool-looking ingredient, avocado oil. So we made it, and it was so good. Put it in the fridge, went home, came back the next day, and it was as if somebody, when we were home in bed, somebody broke into the office and took the great bottle of sauce we had in the fridge and took it out and replaced it with something hideous. Because the next day it didn't taste like this. It was so different. It settled. It was separate. There's so much separation. It was just, it didn't work for us.
Too much oil.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sauces really do settle, especially over the first week. I feel like the first week or two, things change a lot. And that's actually one reason that when we're trying to match something like from a first batch to a second batch, I don't find holding on to an old bottle of the previous batch that reliable as a comparison for how they taste. And it's good, but I do find that, it hot, it tastes so different than it does cold, if it's had a chance to settle versus it hasn't. Right. That really writing like a good spec sheet of like how this should taste, how it should taste hot, to me works out better, and I can better duplicate that first product than if I'm tasting these side by side with a cold aged product versus a fresh hot one.
Right.
But
it's
I
interesting.
that way.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Speed round?
You guys ready for the speed round? These are just some really silly questions. Some of them aren't silly, but really silly questions. You can answer them real quick, or you can just...
Quack?
What?
Answer them like a duck.
Yeah.
I don't know. You said answer them real quack or crack.
Oh,
or
I
something.
said you could just say you can't answer it. Did I say quack?
You can say pass, like in
There you go.
pass.
You said answer them. You were talking about how there's just quick answer questions, and it sounded like you said answer them real quack.
Oh,
It did smack in there.
Got it.
Or
Okay.
crack, perhaps.
All right. You win the lottery. What's the first hot sauce related thing you get?
Who are you asking?
You.
Me. What's the first, a brand new facility, a big, giant, brand new facility.
All right. If you had to give up hot sauce altogether, this is perfect timing for this. If you had to give up hot sauce altogether, or the pepper world, but could do anything else, what would it be?
I have to walk away from the chili world. Anything else?
Yeah.
I'd continue writing. I like writing.
I had a feeling you'd say that.
Yeah.
You only get to use one hot sauce for the rest of your life. Desert Island hot sauce. What would it be?
Jeez. Boy, you know what? Tabasco Family Reserve.
Oh, that's a surprising answer.
Yeah.
All right.
I've had that one. I like it.
Family Reserve is so good.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. If you had a sandwich named after you, what would it be, and what type of heat would be in it?
I actually had a burger named after me it was in Tucson. And it's a bunch of burgers, it's 2 slabs of burger and Reaper and scorpion mash and all kinds of great stuff. It's at Thunder Bacon Burger.
Awesome.
So that's probably what I would do. I'll steal that. It's an easy answer.
All right. If you go back in time and change one thing about your business journey, what would it be?
I would have gotten sober a long time.
Yeah, I can understand that. What is the best business advice you've ever been given?
Well, I don't know if it's business advice, but it's advice, and it can overflow into business. My father once said to me, never, ever, ever make an important decision when it's dark out.
Oh.
I said, why? He goes, because everything looks different in the light of day. And there have been countless times where I would have made a decision and I held off, and the next day I went, wow, thank God I didn't do that. So to me, just never making an important decision at night, it sounds silly, but it's super big with me.
That makes good sense. I do a 3-day rule, but I like the overnight because it's not too long, because I always want to do it. Let's see here. If you could collaborate with any other hot sauce company, who would it be?
No, if I could collab with anybody, let me think real quick. If I could collab with anybody, you know what? Uncle Mungo's in Australia. He's a great guy. He makes great sauces. I love his personality, and he's in a different country, but I would love to do a collab with Uncle Mungo's.
That's awesome. Let's see here. If you had to pare down, if you had to pare down to one product, what would it be?
Tubatera.
Okay.
Yep.
If your brand, basically your brand and all that you represents, were a cave person, would it be a hunter or a gatherer, and why?
Oh, definitely hunter.
Yeah.
Because I'm just the ultimate cave. I am a caveman. I sleep when I'm tired. I work when I have to. I eat when I'm hungry. Thank God I don't have to work for somebody.
There you go.
So definitely a hunter.
All right. Last one's really silly, but if Pepto-Bismol asked you to make them a hot sauce, what type of heat would you use?
I would just go with habanero. I think habanero and Pepto would go well together. I think it would pair nicely. I think anything else would clash.
Yeah, I said Ghost, but I think, I was split between Ghost and habanero. So, yeah.
I like it.
Awesome. That's it. We're done. That's the interview.
Awesome. Listen, I want to thank you guys. And you know what? I was in a bit of a funk. I'm just in a weird spot mentally. And you know, and I was sort of joking when I said I'd feel better when this is over, but I really do. I love you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
We'll send you our bill.
Definitely should.
It's really nice to meet you.
Hey,
it was really nice to
guys
talk to you, Johnny.
If you ever want to do another one, just anytime you ever want, just ask.
Absolutely. This has been a Spike Mind Media production.